Senate's the
no,
allies.
no, no,
Senate's
no.
allies. Senate's
Something about the allies, yeah.
Send it to the allies.
Send it to allies.
Sunday.
No.
They're closer.
Expand armed forces.
Revive.
Hey, we're expanding armed forces. Now it looks like we're starting to do something. In response to the possibility of a new war in Europe, Roosevelt asked Congress for more than $500 million in new military expenditures, the largest since World War I. This would go towards all the branches of the armed forces, but with special emphasis on aircraft and expansion of fortifications in the Pacific and the Caribbean. So now we're starting to take this seriously. We know something might be coming. We don't want to get involved yet, but if something's going to come knock on our door, we want to be ready for it. Germany dismembers Czechoslovakia. In defiance of the agreement reached in Munich the previous autumn, Hitler declared the dissolution of Czechoslovakia. Bohemia and Moravia would be occupied by German forces, and the rest would be a semi-independent state. What are we going to do? No formal action. Let's see. Nothing. We're not going to do a darn thing. We've joined France and Britain issuing a stern denunciation of German aggression, but that's it. And what does that even mean? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
What was reading for them?
And remember, this all is part of the policy of appeasement that we talked about yesterday. Just letting the Germans do what they're going to do because we feel bad about the Treaty of Versailles and World War I, and we don't want to get involved in another war. Italy invades Albania. So now the Italians are starting to test things out. What are we going to do? No formal action?
Expand armed forces.
Yeah.
Expand armed forces. Nope.
Senate's the allies.
Allies. Wait, no.
Expand exclusive.
I think there's no more.
No.
Expand export.
No.
Escort zone. All right.
Send aid to the
Senate's
allies.
the allies.
Send aid to the Allies.
No.
No formal action.
No formal action. No formal action. Again. Again.
Are we trying to make the U.S. look better?
It's starting to feel that way, right? Like, it sounds like we're a bunch of sissies sitting at home.
Why are you getting none of our business, bro?
Huh?
Getting none of our business.
Exactly. And that's what they were saying. It was none of our business. Most Americans couldn't identify Albania on a world map. So there was no possibility that they would seek to commit their country to its defense.
Serbia. Don't they have like a war against that middle country too?
Germany invades Poland, World War II begins. What are we going to do here?
No formal action.
Because when they invaded Poland, we didn't do nothing.
What do we think?
Senate's the allies.
Send aid to the Allies.
Hispanic score zone. Expand.
No.
You're done. You're done. Huh? No formal action. Let's see. Nope.
Declare war. No, not yet.
I told you.
Neutrality law.
Invoke neutrality laws.
No.
Yes.
Declare war.
Revised neutrality
Boys
laws.
come to the last one.
President Roosevelt had never been comfortable with the arms embargo provision of the Neutrality Acts. He had much preferred a flexible embargo that could be applied to one side against the other in a conflict. Particularly, he felt that embargo against both sides would end up rewarding aggressors who would generally be counted to have stockpiles of weapons before the war. So now the United States has the ability to sell weapons to Britain and France. So they're about to commit their entire nation to defending Europe, but we're just going to give them some guns. Allies. Germany invades Denmark and Norway. What are we going to do?
No formal action.
still on the bench. By this time, the United States was selling arms and ammunition to the Allies, thanks to the Division of Neutrality Acts. Roosevelt firmly believed that Britain and France would ultimately defeat Germany and no further U.S. involvement was required. Still not our business. We think that Britain and France are tough guys, so we don't really need to get involved. Germany invades Low Countries in France.
Oh, no.
Was friends one of our allies?
Hey guys, you can stop taking notes. We're just going to try to run through the last few. What do you think?
Expand armed forces.
Expand armed
No,
forces.
send it to the Allies.
Send it to the Allies.
No formal action.
No formal action.
Shoot on the spot.
Expand armed forces.
Expand armed
Reserves.
forces. Exactly. So Germany invades Low Countries. We're going to start expanding armed forces. France surrenders. Surely, France surrenders.
You could have won.
No.
No formal action.
Send it to the Allies. Send it to the Allies.
Send aid to the Allies. So finally, we're starting to do something.
Again.
The start of the Blitz.
So Blitz.
The Blitzkrieg is when Germany sent their armored division and their planes, and they're just like a mower. They just plowed through Europe.
Expand export zones.
Nothing.
Dang, we hold.
Not doing anything. So Italy invades Greece.
No formal action.
No
Nope.
I swear.
Expand
Reserve,
export zones.
provide neutral laws.
Expand export zones.
Send aid. Sending aid. All right, I want to move on to something else. All right, we'll finish. We'll figure something out. All right. British gold reserves run low. Because the British are fighting the Germans. If Britain runs out of money, then they can't fight the Germans anymore. Send
Expand
aid.
armed forces.
This one actually makes sense. All right, we're going to send aid to Germany. And to the Britain. Yeah, we're not going to give anything to Germany. Germany invades Yugoslavia and Greece.
No formal action.
No formal action. Send aid. We're going to send aid. All right, we're starting to get a little more serious about this. There's going to be no formal actions. We've got skin in the game now, but I don't think we're actually going to do a whole lot. Staggering losses at sea. So what are we going to do?
Declare war.
Send aid.
Send aid?
Declare war.
Declare war.
No.
No, expand export zones.
Revise.
Expand export zone. Yeah, it's expand export zone. If they're suffering staggering losses at sea, what we're going to do, we're going to supply more ships just to protect their investments. Germany invades the Soviet Union. Nothing?
Yep.
Because we don't care about Soviets? All right.
No.
No.
Expand armed forces.
Expand armed forces.
Send aid to Allies.
Send aid. Right now we're all about sending aid. Shoot on sight? It's got to be coming. All right. The Greer Incident. When President Roosevelt announced that U.S. warships would escort merchant vessels deep to the Atlantic Ocean, it would result in the incident involving U.S. Navy and German submarines. This is what happened. Yeah, the German submarine fired 2 torpedoes at USS Green. What do you think? Shoot on sight.
Shoot on sight?
Shoot on sight. Where they at?
Is it time? Is it time?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. It's time to shoot on sight. A week after the Greer incident, Roosevelt went on national radio for one of his famous fireside chats to the American people. He accused the Germans are being rattlesnakes in the Atlantic and said that you should fire on sight on any German submarines. The Kearney incident. By autumn of 1921, U.S. warships were escorting merchant vessels bound for Britain more than halfway across the Atlantic, nearly as far as Iceland. A few miles in another ship, the U.S. Navy came under attack from German submarine. This time, the target was the destroyer, the U.S. Kearney, which was torpedoed by a U-boat. What do you think we're going to do here?
Shoot on sight. Shoot on sight.
Shoot on sight? Nope.
Expand its zone.
Expand on
Expand on
forces.
forces.
Revising strategy on.
Invoke. Revise.
Revise. Made no secret desire to further weaken neutrality acts, particularly to provisions that ban arming merchant ships. So essentially, he's revising the neutrality act so the U.S. can do more and more and more to help. All right, next one. Germany and Italy declare war on the United States.
Declare
Oh,
war.
yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No more action.
No formal action.
Shoot on sight.
Take it serious.
Send A to the other.
Ah, what is it? No,
Send A to the allies.
Send A to the other.
Send A to the allies.
What are we gonna do? All right, we all know what we're gonna do.
I thought we
Declare war.
I thought we declared war after Pearl Harbor.
We did. This is after Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
Did you read the date?
December 7th, 1941. We are now officially declared war, and we are in World War
What do they
II.
call it?
And to expand on that, we're going to do this short reading. This is, it's only 2 pages. It's part of an excerpt from President Roosevelt's speech on why we should end neutrality. I want you to apply the rule strategy, underline, write in the margins, and you're going to answer a series of questions as well. Understanding this speech is important to the understanding of World War II because this is what brought us out of neutrality. This is what made us decide to stop taking no formal action. After this day, it was very formal action. These questions are due when you walk out today. That's fun, right?
I enjoyed it,
What's it
Yeah.
called?
but we'll talk.
What does that mean by sword? What kind of sword? What's that?